Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Roast.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. Can we just start here on the jump and just say, just from unintentional comedy alone, how great this eviction show was? I mean, yes, it ended up being very, very predictable, but Chuk, who basically said nothing for all of 5 weeks of this show.
Yeah.
He would not stop talking to Julie. He kept going on and on, listing off his nominee to the point where Julie just stopped caring and she was just like, let's just get to the goodbye messages now, Chuk.
Yeah, this was such a strange casting with Chuk. I get what he's saying where he's like, listen, like a lot of athletic guys come in here and they get targeted right away.
Yes.
And so I wanted to play a bit of a different game, and I get all that. But like, I've just felt like Chuk hasn't really been playing this season. That sometimes he's kind of like, where am I? Am I even in this house? Do I even want to be here? It was just very strange. Like, I think he was doing fine, obviously, when he was in a big alliance because
Yes.
they were just carrying him along. But this week, being on the block really like shone a light on him of, does he really know what's going on in this house? I mean, the show, even tonight, tried to show Taylor trying to guide him on things. And the show's even like, do you know what show you're on?
They were very shady towards Chuk in the edit tonight. And you know what?
Yes.
I'm good with it. I'm fine with it because this is the thing, Chuk. We're going to drag you a lot in the first few minutes of this video. I hope you're somewhere out there prepared. Your hard hat is on. You're bracing yourself for whatever is coming next here. But before we get any further into that, be sure to join our YouTube memberships because we have a brand new Big Brother exclusive video coming later this week. We just had one all about the downfall of the tool shed, that alliance that, as you mentioned, did include Chuk. We have a great time talking Big Brother with you guys over there, and we really, really appreciate your support.
We have brand new Big Brother videos every single week for our memberships and our Patreon. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined. We are also covering Reacher just for our members and our Patreons right now. And we're going to be covering Slow Horses also just for our members and our Patreon. So thank you so much to everyone who's joined. It really does help us a lot here at the channel to keep bringing you these videos every day.
Yeah, we are so, so grateful and appreciative for all of that. I'm just going to throw this out there now.
Yeah.
Is Chuk, at the very least, in like the top 20 worst Big Brother castings in recent memory? Like you mentioned this, so there's a lot of things here that are very, very frustrating about him, including one, his real refusal to do a lot of campaigning over the last couple days. Like we've talked about some, but it's not exactly like he was banging down doors over the last 24 hours since we did our last video being like, I need to talk to you. Like there was never really any urgency to his game.
No, I don't know why. It feels a lot like he really felt like maybe his alliance was still gonna have his back, or maybe he just felt like he just didn't want to do it. He didn't feel like he should have to campaign. Like, I don't know what was going on here with this. It was so strange. I mean, we've seen people not campaign in the past, but this was odd.
He acted at times on the feeds like the idea of campaigning hard was somehow beneath him. And you know what it reminded me of? It was the same energy he brought when he was talking about how he and some of his friends kind of check out after the first few Big Brother episodes of the season. And it really did make me feel like, do you, Chuk, think you are too good for this silly parking lot reality show? Like, what is going on? What is with this sort of weird attitude?
Especially since it's just having conversations. It's not beneath anybody to be doing that. You're not going around like begging for votes. You're having conversations and trying to negotiate to try to find a way to be able to stay, of what you can offer, what someone can offer you, and how things can work out. There's nothing wrong with a conversation.
No, if you've missed,
with anyone.
We talked about this on the live feeds not that long ago, that Drew had even gone to Haley and had said, one of you is almost certainly going to be leaving the game this week. And
Mhm.
it was like they didn't even believe him, Chuck acted like this was the biggest blindside of all time. And it's just, you
He
could have,
looked shocked.
why did you not? Well, okay, I know nobody wants to listen to Drew, but why did you not listen to Drew? Why did you not get a read? How about the fact that your own alliance split away from you on this past vote? What did you think they were all just going to magically come back together again?
I don't know. I don't know what was going on with Chuck, honestly. It was very strange.
All of it was really, really strange. But like, here's the other part of it. Like, we were unfortunately withheld from what could have been a really, really interesting vote tonight.
Yeah.
Because, like, as of a couple of hours leading on to the episode, it really did seem like there was going to be a flip and they were going to keep Haley over Chuck. A lot of the crossovers kind of came together that could have produced all of this really, really messy aftermath.
Yeah, and I'm actually really curious now who's going to be the first person to go to Haley to kind of share some of this information to try to bring her back on board because, as of this recording, no HOH yet. That
Yes.
could be Haley. She has won an HOH before. She just won this blockbuster. Man, did you hear that audience when she won?
Well, this was the Okay, I'm gonna try to take everybody through my head here.
That whole audience is team mess. That's what that feels like. The minute that I heard all that hooting and hollering,
Yeah.
I was like, you guys are team fun feeds, and that's what you're here for.
Okay, I'll admit that when I first heard that, and then I saw Chuck running in, and he was acting like this was Christmas morning I was just like, was that Chuck who was just hooting and hitting? Angela,
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, okay, is this Chuck? This could be Chuck. But then the way that he came over, I was like, he just went from screaming like that to this, who's really quiet. That wasn't Chuck.
yeah, and Angela even kind of confirmed it at the very, very end of the
Yes.
episode. It was like, oh, that is the audience. The audience has Big Brother actually found all of the Haley stands that are out there in the country and flew them all to the lot for this episode?
Okay, listen, everybody enjoys watching a TV villain to some degree.
Yes.
If you do not have that in the house,
Yes.
the house gets boring. And then you have people like Dee and Devins just stirring the pot just because they're a bit bored. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You do need to have those foils in there for the other side of the house. And Haley is it.
That is the thing. Like, okay, I'm not embarrassed to say it. I was rooting for Haley to stay like 120%
Yo,
tonight.
what's happening
I-
in this
listen,
video? No,
Haley-
listen, I did not want Chuck to stay.
No, because this is the thing. Like, Chuck's not exactly the king of likability over here either. Like, yes, Haley has been mean to people in the game, but Chuck hasn't been altogether nice to a lot of people here either.
No, here's the thing. I wasn't rooting for Haley to stay, but I was rooting for Chuck to go.
Haley feels to me like 3 or 4 years are going to pass from the time of this recording, and there's going to be like this corner of Big Brother Twitter that comes out and is just like, remember Haley? You guys couldn't handle Haley
That's-
anymore
uh,
on
that-
social media.
1,000%. This is like the resurgence of what's happening to Angela right now, where it was like she played and like so many people were irritated and upset with her
Yes.
and didn't like her. This season, of course, there's still people out there that don't like Angela, but she's playing a very different game.
Yes.
And some people have turned around on her to be like, oh man, you remember Angela? Look at her now. It's like, okay.
Yeah, Haley is a very unique house guest in this sort of way. And that's why I think she is actually good casting. Like, would I want to
Yes.
hang out with her? Absolutely not. Is it entertaining at times to watch people hang out with her in the house? Absolutely, yes. And she did something today on the feeds, I'll admit, that was legitimately like eye-poppingly shocking to me.
And very sweet.
It was really, I was just like, did somebody take over your body, Haley? Okay, so here's what happened, because Angela's birthday is coming up, and there's been a lot of discussion about this, including like at one point earlier this week, she asked Melody to deliver a roast for her, which Melody is an aspiring comedian. Melody, this is a trap. Don't do it. Angela cannot handle a roast, but Haley went and got a Snickers bar and like wrapped it up with a little bow and gave it to her. Despite everything that happened this week, it's like this early birthday present. I was shook. I was just like, how is this still? But I think There
It was
is
really sweet. I mean, could it be a little bit of gameplay? Probably, but at the same time, it's just such a nice thing. I'm a big birthday person. I
mhm.
think birthdays are awesome. I love everybody celebrating their birthdays, but it's extra nice when somebody's going to do something really sweet for you like that.
Well, okay, you mentioned this earlier. What if Haley ends up getting HOH? And I think
That's right.
this is where I think we can talk about some things through a very, very interesting lens where Angela trying to amend things with Haley over the past 24, 48 hours
Yep.
suddenly becomes all the more important. Like it
Yes.
does raise the question of, okay, where is Haley going to land if she gets into power? But this is where let's get into that time machine for a moment here and go back around a
Oh.
week.
Okay, I'll beep bop 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 boop. It is a week
Oh,
ago.
it's Kamu who's going into the HOH room and just like blatantly throwing Haley and Chuck under the bus. Like, this is
Yeah.
where I think it gets really interesting if Haley wins HOH. If you are Lala or if you are Taylor, who have kind of sort of tried to form something with Kamu over these past several days, do
They're all
you?
going up.
Yeah, but it's just like to save yourself. Do you throw Chuck under? I mean, do you throw Kamu under the bus? Even harder if you are the icons. Do you try to do the same thing? There's some value in Kamu for them, but is there that much value in Kamu for them?
Yeah, no, if Haley wins, I think Kamu is done if she can get him out. She is not someone to forgive something like that. Like the fight with Angela, that's not, putting her up on the block and possibly sending her
Mhm.
out the door, right? What Kamu did, I feel like she's going to be out on him. I do. I feel it. I mean, there's always a possibility that she's like, I'm on my own. What can I do?
Mhm.
He's around. Sure, maybe I'll work with him. But I feel like if she can move over towards Angela and that group, and they may be wanting to bring her in, especially if she wins HOH.
Well, I think this is where Angela kind of falls backwards into playing reasonably well and admitting to her vote in like the super apologetic way
Yes.
that she did. Because it's like Angela's fatal flaw in some ways is that she can't ultimately be that much of a schemer because she feels kind of guilty. But yet, I think Haley appreciates people who are blunt and people who will
Yep.
just tell her things. So, if she's able to catch Kamu or anyone else in a straight up lie that she knows is not true, they don't end up admitting to it. Like, she feels like the sort of person who will just never ever forgive that pretty much forever.
That's right. Grudge forever.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then revenge.
Your favorite thing.
My favorite thing.
Your
I love
favorite thing.
watching revenge.
Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit more about the week to come and some of the conversations that have happened here on the feeds. But I
Mhm.
there's one other thing that I really need to point out here, and this is Devins. When you go in and cast your vote, and I like Devins, but him acting like Lala had like the worst case of HOH-itis. Are you just upset that she held court with the whole newbie meeting? Because it was just, you just literally went through Haley's HOH, which
know.
was one of the worst examples I can possibly think of here.
Also, it was very weird that Julie called out Barrett when Barrett was like having his speech and he was like, oh, and shout out to Mallory at BB28. I laughed. I thought it was just a haha.
Yes.
Julie making it out to be like this flirting thing. I was like, maybe, but come on. Like, I know you guys really want a showmance, and
Yes.
now that Lyric and Rome are out, you don't have that. But still, you can't force it. And you're certainly not going to force it that way by making Mallory feel awkward, making Barrett feel awkward. Now, together, they're awkward in the house. That's not how you make a match.
This is bad. Like, I legitimately think this was really bad that Julie did this. It's not, I don't think anybody's going to come at Barrett immediately, but this, yeah, it's going to get into everybody's brains now, and they're going to think
Yep.
that America is rooting for this showmance. It puts a much bigger target on the two of them, especially Mallory, who is already a little bit targeted by some of the icons as it was.
1,000%. This feels like when Jeff on Survivor is like poking around and
Yes.
like causing problems and getting in people's heads with gameplay. Julie is usually a lot better than this with that.
Yeah.
But this felt really out of character for her to actually be in there and kind of picking at something like that, because now everyone's gonna be looking and be like, oh, is there some sort of showmance going on here?
Mhm.
We need to worry about this. We we need to break them up. We need to like target them because showmances always end up getting targeted. And now
Yes.
all of a sudden there's this huge target on Barrett potentially or Mallory potentially for no reason. They're not in a showmance.
Yeah, the real winner here of all of this, maybe Drew buys himself another week from suspicion because they're going to have to get rid of Mallory first.
Yep.
Okay, I will say one thing about your guy Drew that I do oddly really appreciate. You know, I hate shout-outs 95% of the time.
Yep.
I kind of like him being Ric Flair every time he leaves that road and just screams woo at the time. It's really dumb, but I'm just like, you know what? At least it's unique. I will give you a little tip of the cap for that, Drew. Okay, so really, we already kind of know in terms of what could be coming with the next HOH cycle, where it seems like there is a lot of D versus Taylor and like their different sides going on. But there's one story of the top past 24 hours that I think we do have to look a lot at here. And this is this newfound tension in the FAP, the Friends of American People Alliance.
Oh my goodness. Production, you couldn't come up with a better name than this?
Yeah, I understand you're not allowing them to use their real name. Standard and practices are here. You can't bleep it constantly. But this is really, really terrible. But just like to quickly run down what has ultimately happened here. The situation unfolded when Dee decided that she was going to throw Drew under the bus to Mallory and tell him, oh, by the way, Drew and I were talking, and Drew said that apparently you are okay with me being a replacement nominee for you, Mallory. And just like Dee trying to like find little fractures within this group and slowly work to split them up.
I have my hard hat on. Listen, I do like Dee, but I think this was a tremendously bad gameplay move for her to throw Drew under the bus at a time where this group is coming together in a way that they have enough numbers to deal with the other side of the house if they need to. The HOH hadn't been played yet. Also, Drew is your main pipeline to information. Everything that's happened with this sort of new FAP group has been funneled over to you through Drew. Also Barrett, but Drew is like your main pipeline of information. And in a game where information is such power in this game, you're going to cut off Drew from being, one, able to get you any more information because now Mallory's going to like, maybe we don't talk to Drew anymore. So that pipeline drying up for you. So why would you do this? Then you've got Drew, who's now being confronted by Mallory, who in the back of his mind might be like, why would Drew do, or why would Dee do something like this? Maybe I won't tell her as much anymore. It's too early in the game to be cutting off your information pipeline for no reason. I get that you're bored and you want to like cause a little bit of drama and, you know, all this sort of thing. You want to make sure that, you know, Drew and Mallory and them, that they don't stay that close. But like, this is not the time right before the HOH. And now your information pipeline, it's dry. So well done.
Her game is just, and it's been like this really for the past week or so.
I don't get it.
Ever since she did that last vote flip, it's just that it seems like she really enjoys playing the game in a very, very risky fashion. And yeah, I understand risks can pay off. Like I remember going way, way back in time to Tony's first season on Survivor. It felt like he was going to be voted off every single week. And it's like sometimes you can take risks, but don't take unnecessary risks. And it just felt like you took one at this past time, turning on the red corner, that kind of fulfilled the risk quota for a little while. Like she took a risk in telling Kamu about the power and telling Devons about the power. And it seemed like she got away with those okay. And it feels like she thinks now that because these other risks have paid off for her, that she can keep flying closer and closer and closer to the sun, thinking that it's all right. Because even if Drew is annoyed with me over this, because obviously this is going to come back to him at some point, is he going to have anywhere else to go? And I feel like at this point, he does still. You don't need to go this hard, this fast.
That's only part of the problem. Like, maybe you might be able to keep Drew on your side, but the information, it has stopped flowing. Mallory's already like, maybe we don't tell Drew anything anymore. And that means that now Drew is unable to get that information to bring back to you. So now you have a blind spot because of your own actions for no reason.
Well, yeah, and this all does set up this situation. We're moving in to the next HOH now, where it seemed like maybe Drew and Barrett were going to steer Melody and Mallory away from the icons to a
Right.
certain extent. Now that all of this drama has happened, and now that Melody and Mallory do have it in their heads, can we trust Drew? Can we not trust Drew?
Yep.
They may be more incentivized now to be like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and try to get rid of these icons
Yep.
because, you know, if our supposed allies are using them and giving them information, we need to cut them off and try to find a way to bring our own allies a little bit closer.
Yeah.
It might have caused a much bigger problem in a way that it really didn't need to.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting based on who wins this HOH, because I do think that this move by D, if the wrong person does get into power,
Yeah.
that could be them on the block.
Yeah, I think the one other important factor we all have to kind of think about here is that Devin's Diamond Power of Veto. It doesn't have that much time left. He doesn't have to use it on this upcoming HOH cycle, but it's running very, very short. And it's going to come to a time where he is just going to use it just for the sake of using it. Now, what makes this even more complicated is that we have other powers that are out there in play. I think this is a time that we can really start thinking about, does production want somebody to get that coin of destiny? Are they really just going to have their second most powerful thing just go completely out the window here?
Yeah, no, I think they really need it if they want the game to be balanced.
Yes.
But tinfoil hat, they don't want the game to be balanced. They want one of the survivor players to win, actually just Evans.
Okay. I think what's going to happen here, and this is going to make me very, very mad. I'm just making that clear to everybody right now.
Listen, nobody's giving D another pile of money.
Okay. So Melody is going to get this power. She's going to go in there. At least I think it's either going to be her or your guy, Drew. Like, I feel pretty confident with that this week. She's going to go in there. She's going to get the coin of destiny. She's going to use it. And then the wrong side of the coin is going to come up. And all of us are just going to be like so fundamentally disappointed.
That is how this season is going. So everybody have your hard hat on for that.
Yeah, I just, no matter what, I just want there to be some real drama, or at the very least, like an illusion of a power shift. Like the ideal here would be that somebody ends up getting power. Maybe it's Taylor, maybe it's one of the underdogs, end up getting both Evans and D on the block together so that both of them can't be saved at the Diamond Power of Veto. And even if they both end up making it through the week, we just want to see people sweat, right? Like that's the whole purpose. If Devins has been ordained by the CBS gods, as you have noted, to win this season, it's not fun when it is a boring ride and it is just like, and I don't want to speak ill of your guy Derek here, but this is the problem I had with 16 was he was so good.
Yes, he was.
It was just too dull for me.
Okay, he was so good, but he also wasn't handed the Diamond Power of Veto. You know what I mean? And like, oh, only 3 of you can compete for the first HOH. Derek gets a pass on that. It's not the same situation where he was set up to win the season, where here it feels like one of the icons is set up to win the season. There's so many advantages that have been given to these 3, specifically these 2 survivor players, that it just feels like, I don't know. I just don't want it to be that they don't have any challenges. I don't want this to be like when Cody won, where it was like from the very beginning of that season, throughout the whole season, everyone was just like, oh, we want to make this move. Well, let's see what Cody thinks about him. By the end of the season, he's sitting there being like, well, of course I won.
Okay, that you are correct. Derek's advantage was just that he was really good at Big Brother. Your
He
comparison,
was very good at Big Brother, but he wasn't like piled on with a whole bunch of
no.
advantages. And that's what made his game really special. Listen, I know not everybody loves Derek, but like, I just thought he played a really great game. I thought it was really cool the way that he came in. This is not about Derek, so we're just going to see ourselves out here.
No, I was just gonna say your comparison to Cody's more apt because Cody may have had a lot of pregame alliances going into that season.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe. So he had a lot of advantages, but that's where it lines up, and that is where we will cap off this edition of Big Brother 28 live feed spoilers. Shedding any tears at all for Chuk? Let us know. Let us know what you want to see from Haley now that she's sticking around. Join our YouTube memberships. We do have another Big Brother exclusive coming your way this week. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will see you here next time.